Do you believe your pain or physical symptoms are neuroplastic in nature? If not, try this practice out. We know from research that a lot of chronic pain, chronic fatigue, other chronic symptoms are not physically caused. This is a big misconception by our culture, by our society, that when we feel some type of sensation, pain, fatigue, dizziness, any other symptom, we just assume right away something's wrong with the body. And we have a biological instinct. We have a biological instinct that to think that any of these sensations means that there's something wrong with the body. Because we feel them in the body, so why would we not think that? But when we come to a mind-body approach, we want to shift that belief. Understand that our pain or physical symptoms are occurring because our brain and nervous system has been stuck in a state of survival or danger for a long period of time. And this is really what is triggering and perpetuating a lot of chronic symptoms. You may or may not believe me, and that's okay. When I first came to a mind-body approach, I thought all of this was ridiculous, and I was a therapist too. So I knew about these ideas, but I was like, there's no way that's what's causing my debilitating widespread chronic pain. But that needed to shift over time for me to heal. Now, you don't need to believe this 100% at first. You don't. That's not going to occur. It takes time to build the belief that our pain or symptoms are neuroplastic and our body's actually safe and that our brain and nervous system has been triggering this the whole time. That belief takes time. You're not going to force that to occur. But if you're struggling to believe this, you could be struggling because of that biological instinct. You could have been told really scary medical advice or medical jargon about your condition. Maybe that's holding you up. You could have condition responses. You could be saying to yourself, Tanner, when I walk, I feel back pain. So the walking must be triggering something in my body that's causing the pain. But these are often mistaken condition responses where our body's actually physically safe. When I walked, my back pain got triggered too. And it wasn't the walking that was causing the back pain. What was happening is my brain interpreted walking equals danger. And so it would just click pain on as soon as I was walking. Now, good news, you can reverse these condition responses, but maybe it's one of these three things that are holding you up. And we want to change that. So part of this channel, I give a lot of education on neuroplastic pain and symptoms. That's the starting place, is educating yourself, understanding how chronic pain and symptoms actually work and what treatments are actually effective to reduce them or eliminate them. Newsflash, this approach has research that backs that up. But the education is part of it. But the next step is starting to gather evidence, because you're not just going to click on and believe this. You need to give your brain facts. You need to give your brain evidence that this makes sense. So I have a really simple activity that you can all go and try, and that you can then use every single day for the extended period of time until this belief increases. This comes from Pain Reprocessing Therapy and involves gathering evidence that your pain or symptoms are neuroplastic. Neuroplastic pain or symptoms behave and occur differently than, a structural or systemic cause for chronic pain or symptoms. They act differently, and we can look for evidence of this. Now, on my website, I have a blog post outlining the criteria for neuroplastic pain and symptoms. I'm going to put that link in the description of this video. This is important because you need this for this task. After this, you're going to go and review it. I want you to read that blog post over and you don't have to study it, but read it over. And as you do that, start to gather evidence. So some evidence could be such as this. For example, when my pain or symptoms came on, they came on during a very emotional time. I changed my major in school. I was starting to get more serious with my partner. I was dealing with a spiritual crisis at the time. And so my brain and nervous system was stuck in this state of survival. And all of a sudden the pain occurred. That's evidence. My pain didn't come on in lots of different areas because of some injury or some perceived damage. It just clicked on over time as I was feeling more and more in danger and more anxious or depressed. That's great evidence. Chronic pain or symptoms that come on during a particularly stressful time, life transition, trauma, that's evidence that this is neuroplastic in nature. But it could also be the way your symptoms are behaving. Are they inconsistent? They're there some days and not others. Or the intensity level varies. It's all over the place. Sometimes I would go for a walk, my back pain will be a 2 out of 10. Other times I go for a walk and be an 8 out of 10. That's a huge variation. If there was something wrong with my body, if there was something structurally wrong, it's going to be very consistent in the way it presents. So inconsistency of symptoms, for example, is another piece of evidence. Or do your symptoms move around or spread over time? This is also evidence. If you have multiple symptoms in all these different parts of your body, it's really unlikely that you've managed to damage all these different areas. But if your symptoms are moving around day to day, hour to hour to different places, or they've spread over time, this is how neuroplastic pain and symptoms occur. So I won't go through all the criteria on that list, but I'm just giving you an example of reading this blog post over and starting to gather some of that evidence. And don't just think about it. Here's the next part of the activity. After you've read the blog post, you're starting to think about your pain or symptoms differently. Write it down. Point form, doesn't need to be 30 pages long. Highly suggest it's not 30 pages long. I know I'm often talking to perfectionists, so I'm careful about this. But then you're going to write it down. And when I was healing, what I wrote down is a document called Why I Am Safe. Why I am physically safe. And I wrote down point form, my evidence that my symptoms are neuroplastic in nature. And this is what you want to do. You need to write this down. You just thinking about it, it doesn't solidify it as much in your brain. You want to write this down point form, and you can write down evidence from the past, but also after you do this activity, you keep adding to the list. And then once a day or twice a day, review this document. Just read it over. You don't have to study it intensely. This should not be taking you an hour. Take 5 or 10 minutes in the morning, read it over. Take 5 or 10 minutes at night, read it over. Or add any new evidence. Perhaps you noticed great anger came on for you, and all of a sudden your pain or fatigue spiked greatly. That's evidence your emotional state's affecting it, and it's neuroplastic. So if that happens since you made the document originally, add that to the list. And by doing this, we're trying to bathe our brain in safety. We're helping the logical parts of our brain understand, hey, we're actually okay. We're actually physically safe. And this is how we overcome doubts, fears, despairs about our chronic pain or symptoms, is we actually give our brain logical evidence that this makes sense. And doing this day by day and reviewing it consistently, you're helping your brain just consistently get this message. Doing this once isn't going to change much because you've had all these fears, frustrations, despairs, negative beliefs about your body and about your pain. So to change that, we need to do it consistently. And not consistently 3 hours a day, consistently once or twice a day for 5 or 10 minutes. So here's my activity for you all on how you can start to believe your pain or physical symptoms are more neuroplastic in nature. So please put your questions or comments down below, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you all soon. Take care.